Everybody wave hello. Wave hello. We are streaming all over the place, and I'm going to put on the music and let me start the recording now. Little backwards, but we make things happen on the ranch, don't we, dear? Yes, we do. Okay, new music. All right. Ben's dancing. Hey, Monsieur Leman, he danced. I guarantee you nobody has music like this on their show, Samantha. I don't know what the velvet ring is, but it sounds good to me. Producer and host in the glow, akaRadioRed, let's go. Tell me what it is that sparks what sparks your fire? What keeps you moving? This show, there we go. I am akaRadioRed, happy to be here. We started a couple minutes late, but I have a fantastic group of creatives for you today. I'm thrilled to be here, and Alison McBain is back. She's been on many, many times, and Alison, you know there's nowhere else RadioRed would be except on Mondays here on the Creativity Show, right? You know that.
Oh, definitely. I love it. And thank you so much for having me back.
Oh, my pleasure. And it's now the Creativity Spark. I have to say hello to the man. I have to say his name with a French accent, Monsieur Ben Leman. Ben, am I doing okay so far?
Well, I'm not French, but it sounds
Ben, we
good.
need louder. Come on, speak. Talk into your microphone. Come on, let's get a little more there. We want to hear you.
All right, I'm not French, but I'll take it. It sounds good.
Take it. And Samantha, she goes by Essie Tschritter. How are you, Samantha?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
My pleasure. Well, we haven't even gotten started yet. Okay, kids, I'm going to start with a special welcome. I have a gift for each of you. And when I call your name, I just want you to smile and wave. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the Creativity Spark Show, where real life stories alight. akaRadioRed on her Scarlett Mic is streaming live and bright. The breathing of creativity is our spotlight today, where resilience, retelling, and reinvention light the way. Samantha Evans, S.E. Tschritter, wave hello. Ben Leman, wave hello. Alison McBain, wave hello, is here too. Creative voices sharing fascinating journeys with me and you. Hear how creativity has propelled them year by year as passion and purpose power their mission clear. Samantha, you're up first, and here's my gift to you. I hope you like it. Raised near Chicago, the oldest of three girls with dreams to pursue, hard work and determination were values her parents always knew. A third-grade writing contest hinted where her future would begin, while romance and tragedy class revealed the hero's quest within. Working on her school's literary magazine helped her stories take flight, discovering a gift for words that would shape her life's delight. Though personal loss brought seasons no one willingly would choose, Samantha transformed pain into compassion others never had to lose. Love letters to miscarriage moms first reached readers heart to heart, then her memoirs, anthologies, and articles displayed her storyteller's art. Today, the Lakeshore's secret blends suspense with faith and grace, where healing, hope, and second chances each find their rightful place. At just 39, she wrote the epitaph she hopes one day will prove she told them they were loved, enduring truth with the power to move. Whether writing mysteries or encouraging hearts along life's road, Samantha reminds us creativity's greatest gift is love bestowed. Samantha, I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you so much. That was great. I loved it.
You're welcome. I'm glad. Ben, you're next. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Raised on a small Texas farm where determination ran deep, Ben learned that dreams are promises worth making and worthy to keep. His father left these words before his life was cut too brief. The only satisfactory means of livelihood is to own your own business, a lasting belief. Though only 8 when his father passed, that legacy lit Ben's way, while his mother's strength and grit shaped who he would become one day. At the University of Texas, entrepreneurship took command as the company Ben launched in his mom's garage grew across the land. Business, public service, ranching, and family each played a part, while Scotland's Highland history captured Ben's mind and his heart. Research into ancestral roots became a quest beyond the page, inspiring Between the Tines and a remarkable storytelling stage. Whether flying, ranching, or writing adventures history has planned, Ben reminds us our greatest stories often grow from family, faith, and land. Ben, I hope you like that.
Wonderful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank
That's
you.
You're welcome, and that's why I asked you for so many details. This is my gift to you. And Alison is back. I had to redo completely. You've been on so many times, completely, and I hope you like this. Born in Canada, raised in California, where redwoods reached the sky, Alison's imagination soared as books and stories began to multiply. With Japanese American and Scottish roots enriching every page, history, heritage, and fantasy inspired her from a very early age. A monster in the closet tale at age 4 began Alison's writing quest. School contests soon confirmed that storytelling was her best. More than 200 stories and poems now span nearly every genre's art, while editing, publishing, and mentoring keep creativity close to her heart. Then life came full circle, returning to Canada's welcoming shore, where new adventures, new readers, new stories waited for her to explore. Whether building worlds, editing voices, or helping fellow writers find their own way, Alison proves that creativity truly grows stronger each and every day. With curiosity, courage, and imagination lighting every mile, she's still writing life's next chapter with her uniquely unmistakable style. Welcome back, Alison. I hope you like that.
Oh, thanks so much. That's so sweet.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let me wrap this part up, then the show's over, Ben. This is all. I just read and you sit there and smile. So gather around where the cool kids and the cool vibes sway as we dive deep into creativity today, aka Radio Red's energy. I think you know that lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. So kids, how'd I do? What'd you think? Samantha, you gonna stick around?
I'm still here. I'm still
Okay.
No, that was good. That was
Good.
good. Thank you.
I'm glad. Ben, and I promised you we would use your dad's quote. I promised you.
Yes, you did. And I would say this. That's the best part of the show with respect to me. I can promise you, you did better about the
Shaw.
two.
Oh, Shaw. I actually, in summer camp one summer, I dated a man named Peter Shaw, and everybody called him Ope Shaw. What can I tell? If you've heard that expression, you're probably all too young to even know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I'd like to do is now I want to go around the table and have you tell us a little bit about your book, your latest book. Remember, we're talking in approximately 3-minute sound bites. I'm not clocking you, but we're not doing a one-on-one where Samantha's going to be here for 30 minutes and Ben's going to say, well, I'm going to go out and take a look, see what the cows are doing. And Alison's going to say, I'm going to go out and write another book. So no, you're all going to stick here. So let's keep it to around that time. And I'm going to put you on speaker view. Samantha, tell us a little bit about what you're writing, what your books are, whatever you want to tell us. And if you have a book handy, show it to us. Go ahead.
My books, I'd have to get up from this chair to go grab them. But so right now I have The Prodigal Son that just came out in January 1st. That's my late husband's memoir. He was a crack addict who got sober, and we were married for 9.5 years while he was sober, and then he relapsed again at the end of his life. And when he got in a drunk driving accident, we found cancer through that drunk driving accident. So that was a huge Chernobyl, just a huge, huge bomb that went off in our lives. And he lived 20 months, diagnosis to death, and asked me to write his story because he knew that it would change people and it would help other addicts or other people steeped in shame to know that their lives are worth something and their lives matter, even when they feel like they don't, maybe. So that just came out in January, and I'm excited because it's going to have an audio version that comes out next year sometime. I don't know. We're still working on the details for the contract for the audiobook, but that's going to happen. So that's exciting. And then The Lakeshore Secret is romantic suspense. I was writing fiction and fun things in between having to write this memoir. It took 7 years for the memoir. So I was writing tons of, I had taking breaks, right? I'd write 2 paragraphs and come back. So one of the romantic suspense novels that I worked on is coming out October 6th. And that is a nod to people in Pequot Lakes, Minnesota. I lived up there for a while. And so I started the book with the setting and what bad thing could happen, what scandalous thing could happen in a lakes community, and went from there. And so that's where my imagination took me. And it's about a girl that goes back home and she's being stalked and someone's trying to kill her. And the only person who can save her is her ex-boyfriend.
Wow. Well, so much for romance and sticking around with the right or the wrong people, right?
Right.
Thank you so much for telling. And if you happen to get up at some point later on and grab a book, we'd love to see a cover.
Perfect.
Okay?
I will do that.
That would be
Yeah.
fine. Ben, you're up next. I want to make sure we can hear you loud and clear. What have you been writing? Do you have a book handy to show us? Just tell us what you're doing with your writing, with your creativity. Welcome, Ben.
Yeah. Yes. First, thank you for letting me on your show. I appreciate it and excited about it. So the first book that I have written is this book that is my debut novel. It's a trilogy. So it's book one of the trilogy. It's called Between the Times. It takes place in Scotland in the 1640s. And what really grabbed my attention about this, and the reason I wanted to write this particular story, is because I think it's a uniting story for people that can all get around. We all share, at least in the United States of America, a history here where people came over from various countries, and this is a story about why. Just one thread of that story of a rope, but it's one thread of a rope, but that thread is consistent throughout the rope. Every country has its own story. So this character, Aaron Lamont, is the son of the chief of Clan Lamont, and basically the clan gets drawn into a conflict, and through this conflict, he experiences various things that change his school of thought about the way of life in Scotland at the time, which was clan warfare, and that transition in the 1640s of his mindset ultimately is what leads him to consider, in his entire clan, to consider leaving Scotland and coming to the colonies at the time in hopes of more opportunity, more freedoms, etc. And so that story, I think, is a big story that can bind together a lot of people, unite us in a world where we're often focused on the differences and the divisions between each other. I think it really helps to bring a lot of people together.
Ben,
So
tell me something. Is it exciting for you to do the research for these books?
It was fascinating. It started off as a family research, chasing down my own roots. Yeah.
Can you tell us who in the family was doing this with you? Did you say, okay, you'll take this part and you'll take this? Or did you all just sit down and say, quick, get out the computer. Let's see who's fastest. I don't know. How'd you do it?
No, I did it myself. I did all the research. I spent about 6 months doing research, and it just led to a broader story that connected a lot of dots in Scotland. And I thought, this is such a fascinating story. It's gripping. It's very energetic. It's very fast paced. It moves quickly, but it's very deep, very thoughtful in this, how this story unfolds. And so, that's basically how it came about.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'm fascinated by people who do historical literature, historical fiction. There's so much to learn and so many sources, right? And so many ways you can fall into the rabbit hole of when do you stop researching? Did you have to make that decision at some point?
Sure. I just had to go through and just stay focused on the progression of the story, the progress, your end goal, where you want to take it, and cut away. I did rewrite twice. I rewrote it twice, cutting and throwing a bunch of extra stories on the floor, so to speak, and stay narrow it down and go deeper within that one story, instead of letting these rabbit holes take you everywhere and not really getting a story.
Thank you. That's interesting because we like to talk about the creative process on the show. We'll be doing more of that when we get to that part of the segment later in the show. Alison, how many hundreds of books and articles and poems have you written since you were on my show a year ago or so? Come on, tell it. What's the latest?
A few.
You have a book cover to show us? Do you have anything with you?
Well, actually, I'm a little backlit, but my book cover is actually right behind me here. So
okay,
I don't know if you can see it in the background.
We can't, but you're welcome to get it at some other point too. Okay. Go ahead. I'm putting you on speaker view. Tell us more, please.
Okay, awesome. First of all, I want to say, Ben and Samantha, I need to pick up your books like as soon as this show is done. They sound fantastic. I'm actually also, I write in all genres, but my last book was also historical. It was an alternate history. And it was set in an alternate sort of 1700s California. And I asked a big what if question. And the question was, what if, instead of the Europeans coming to the Americas first as colonizers, what if the Chinese did? And there's some sort of historical, some archaeological proof that they might have actually come to South America at some point during the 1400s. So I based it on that big what if, and sort of presuppose that it would completely change the course of history. So it was a lot of fun to write. And Ben, I know about those rabbit holes. I like my shelf. You can't see it, but to my bookshelf next to me is just full of research books. And I would sometimes spend all day just reading, which is, half the fun.
It
Doing
absolutely
research.
is.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. Samantha, for your book, did you have to do any research for the novel?
I did not. I had to research The Prodigal Son a lot, and so it was nice to have a break from that. And that was part of the reason I chose an area that I knew, because when the characters are driving down certain streets or they have to go to a store or a bank, I knew exactly where those places were because I'd lived there before. So knowing the setting actually made it a lot easier, and it let me focus on the characters and the development of the characters and the plot and things like that. So that was a lot of fun for me, actually. And it, like I said, a good break from my harsh reality that I was writing on the side there.
Yep. Interesting. It sounds like the novel was doing a therapy or a relief, not a comic relief,
100%, yes.
but a relief. Interesting that you
And
provided
comic relief.
Okay, I didn't want to say it, but you
there's
provided
comedy in there.
you provided yourself with different pockets of emotions and different pockets of what you know and what you wanted to write about. And it was
Yes.
probably very helpful. So thank you all for talking about your books. Let's go to the part of the show where I've asked you each to send me a fictional quote. And I'm going to read the quote and have you tell us what it has to do with your own creativity. And then we'll go to the creativity section. I'll pick something that you said, and we're going to go around the table and see if it resonates with everybody else. So, Samantha, you sent a scene rather than a quote. It's from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. It's a 2007 fantasy movie starring Dustin Hoffman and Natalie Portman. I've never seen it. You're going to tell us about it in a minute. But the quote was, Mr. Edward Megorium says 37 seconds. And Molly Mahoney says, great, well done. Now we wait. And he says, no, we breathe, we pulse, we regenerate, our hearts beat, our minds create, our souls ingest. 37 seconds, well used, is a lifetime. I hope I did that well, Samantha.
I think you did great.
It was a cold
Dustin
read, by the way. I
Oh, yeah.
didn't rehearse it. So go ahead, and I'm putting you back on speaker view. Tell us where you found this, what the movie's all about, and what this has to do with your creativity. Go ahead.
The movie is about a toy store, a magical toy store where toys come to life and imagination comes to life. So it's sort of an author's daydream to walk into a scene like that. And what I love about that particular movie, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, is the acting is phenomenal, but also they hide a lot of really hard, fantastic truths within the fiction of the story, which is what I like to do when I write as well. So I saw a lot of similarities in attacking hard realities with a fiction twist or with humor. And so that part really resonated with me. There's a part where Dustin Hoffman talks about how he bought a pair of shoes that he loved, so he bought enough pairs to last his whole lifetime, and he was out of shoes. So he knew his life was coming to an end because he was out of shoes. And the logic is hilarious, but it's deep when you think about things like that. And so that's why I love that movie. It makes me laugh hysterically. There's also a zebra in it.
Did you all pick up on the timing of how she just waited? There was just this split nanosecond, and then she said, and there's also a zebra in it. Does the zebra have a talking part?
No, he's just in the background while they're eating.
Just a zebra. Isn't
Just
that
a
interesting? I do a show every weekday morning. I think I told you before we started, called Say What? Good News with Bonnie D, my other name. And my story for one of the stories, I look for good news stories off the beaten path, not your headlines, Ben, no cacophony, no chaos, none of that. And a giraffe escaped from a wildlife preserve somewhere, I think it was in Australia. And it went through, it was looking for trees to nibble on, and it took a wrong turn out of the gate. Don't ask me why the gate wasn't locked. And it went out into the wilderness for 2 weeks. And they had an aerial rescue, and somebody locally had an airplane, must have been drones, and they found her name is Gracie the giraffe. And when you said zebra, I had to tell you that, Samantha. I'm sorry. Samantha's looking at me. Are you out of your mind? No, I'm not, but it'll be on my show this week. And they found Gracie, and Gracie was Ben. Well, you raise animals. You know, Gracie was fat and happy and did just fine on her own. And they have a picture of her at a help desk in some organization standing there, and they put a hat on her, and people were welcoming her back. It's like, oh, please, pshaw, we'll go there again. It's like, that just sounds terrible. Anyway, so zebra reminded me of giraffe. Okay. I used to live in Great Neck, New York, and the mascot, if you will, we didn't have avatars back in the day, was a giraffe. Stick your neck out for Great Neck. And it was a community service, Ben likes that, a community service kind of an ethos there. Stick your neck out. So they had a little giraffe on all the signs. I'll have to tell Gracie about that and see. Okay, let's go on to Ben. Ben has picked a classic quote. Everybody loves this one, and I think it's a mantra for life, Ben, because I have used it myself, and I'm glad you picked it. Other than the wonderful quote you sent me from your dad, which I promised you I'd use it, and I did, because it was too valuable to not have it there, and I kept my promise. So Yoda, voiced by Frank Oz, Star Wars, the film, and everybody knows this one. Try not, do or do not. There is no try. And I liken this, Ben, to the light switch is either on or off. And if you leave the light down and the room gets dark, that's a decision. 0 is a decision. If you flip the light switch up, the light's on, and that's a decision. So there is no try other than if you have a dimmer.
Right. Well,
A dimmer. Go ahead, Ben. You got to rescue me. I'm putting you back on speaker view. Talk. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So to me, I think you alluded to it in the beginning. It's a way of life. It's a way of life that I've always approached my entire life that way. Is that, don't just try to do something. Don't use the dimmer switch, and halfway do something. That's not worth your time. It's not worth anybody's time to be on the receiving end of it. If you set your mind towards something, accomplish it. And then you start building habits of accomplishing goals. You start actually not accepting mediocrity, or just a subpar performance. And so I've approached my whole life that way. My businesses that I have, writing this book, some other major events that I've done in my life or major efforts, I've just set my crosshairs on accomplishing the goal and then focus on that goal. Yeah, that's don't get caught in the middle.
Do you have any giraffes or zebras in your, I won't say menagerie, but in your ranch?
Children, and they're pretty much, they've got to be related somehow. Kids are.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And by the way, the accent, I detect, is that a Southern twang? Is that a Texas? Where's the accent come from, Ben?
Texas, yes. It's Texas.
Okay. I'm in Tennessee, but I don't have a Tennessee accent because, as Alison knows, I'm a New York girl and I don't have a New York accent either. So, I'm just one of those voices you just can't tell. Can you? Don't go there. Okay, let's go to Alison's quote. I'm going to let you explain this one. It's Life of Brian, Monty Python, 1979 comedy drama. And this is another wonderful for life quote. Are you ready? Ben's going to love this one. Oh, and so is Samantha. Always look on the bright side of life. Okay, Alison, how'd you find this? How'd you like Monty Python? And talk to me. What does this have to do with?
I'm going to say that you have to sing it. I don't know. Does anyone know that movie?
Well, you're welcome to. I have a friend named Bob who tells me not to sing on my show, so I'm not allowed.
So I will. Anyone who wants to join me, always look on the bright side of life. So I love Monty Python because they do satire so well. And so Life of Brian, for anyone who hasn't watched it,
wait a minute. Okay, I had to do that for you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But basically, it's a guy who is reluctantly chosen as the savior, and he keeps on saying, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not the chosen one." And everyone keeps on saying, but yes, you are. You are at the right place at the right time. We're going to make you the chosen one, whether you like it or not. And as this song actually comes in at the end, and this quote comes in at the end, where basically he and other fellow, chosen heretics are being crucified. And so they all start singing, always look on the bright side of life, as they're literally dying. And the reason I'm telling this long story is because it's sort of like the writing profession, because we all have to be optimistic and believe in ourselves as we're writing, because there is so much rejection in this business. So if we took the first or even the 100th rejection seriously, we would never have our books out there. We would never have our stories or poems. So we just have to keep on looking on the bright side of life, even if it seems very, very bleak, and just keep on persevering and believing in ourselves, because you have to be your number one cheerleader of your career, your writing career, and just keep on going.
I think it applies to any kind of career, Ben. I'm sure.
No, that's true.
And no, I'm saying it's very well placed on a show about creativity, because you've each created a life for yourselves, right? It wasn't written somewhere, as far as I know. Mine wasn't. I'm on my 19th career, and we have to figure it out. And you have to say, I'm going to look on the bright side, or I'm good at this, or I really want this. Ben, you must have run into issues with your ranch, with your businesses. I know you've had some elected official positions you've had, and there must have been times when you had to say to yourself, look on the bright side, right?
I've sat there with my hands in my, on my head, thinking it was the last day of my business, and then say, no, we're going to find a path forward. And you look on the bright side, and you just keep moving forward, put one foot in front of the other, and make it happen. And that's how I've lived my life. And I love that quote, Alison. I thought that was wonderful and very good for a life application.
Really good. And Samantha, this must resonate with you too.
It does, because I got a rejection letter today, actually.
Oh.
Happy Monday.
Okay.
And so here's...
You want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's my bright side. It had nothing to do with the writing itself, the craft, or the story. It didn't fit the mold for the place that I had sent it to. Okay. And so I had encouragement just in knowing that my story is well written and that I wrote a story. And my bright side is that nothing is wasted. So if they don't want to publish it, fine. I have a story written. I can get it edited professionally. I can slap a cover on it, and I can publish it myself. And
Very
so
nice.
Nothing is wasted is
there you
my
go.
bright side.
Do or do not. There is no try, right? You did it,
Just
and nothing was wasted. Right? Interesting. Let me go around the table. I wasn't planning on this, but since we brought this up, especially Alison with you, a rejection letter comes from where? Since I haven't published, I'm still working on my novella, Alison. It's been 3 years, but that's not uncommon. So let me start with you. A rejection letter, would that come from a publisher or from an anthology or a magazine or something where you wanted your book or your story to become part of something else that somebody else created? Just give me an example, and then we'll go around the table. What do you think?
Well, definitely all of the above, I would say. So in addition to writing novels, I also write short stories, essays, articles, poems, so you just send them out everywhere. And you can get rejections. And the key thing is, what I do to pick myself up is, as soon as I get the rejection, I turn around and send it somewhere else. So I'm never just having, languishing submissions, because I found that the longer I do this, the less the rejections feel personal, because they aren't personal, right?
Exactly.
They're looking at your work and it's not a good fit, but someone will love it. You just have to believe in yourself and keep on sending that out, and you'll find the person who raves about that submission. Whereas, you might have 3, 4, 5 rejections behind it, but you just have to find the right person.
Thank you. Ben, have you had any rejection letters for anything?
Well, I had a different approach on, this being my first novel. I did a lot of research, and being the entrepreneurial spirit that I am, I rejected them. That's basically how I put it.
Did I say good for you? Go ahead. Tell us why. We want to know why.
I just did first of all, just from a business side, I'm not proven. I don't have any other products I can point to and say, look, here's what I've done before. And I feel like I'm negotiating from a weak position of leverage, right? I mean, and for what you have to give up there from the rights and the percentages as an unproven author, I mean, I only reached out to one, and I also went to some seminars to learn the differences, and I decided I'm not. And that one wanted to publish my book. They wanted to take me on and sign me up, but I did not allow them to, and instead did self-publishing route. For me, it was a better fit for my timeline. I'm not. I was trying to learn my writing process. I was trying to learn, the industry. It's changing so quickly. I see an emerging market where the technology is almost eliminating the need for the middleman in so many industries, right? And I think it seems like it's happening in this industry as well, where people can go direct. But it's also changing it, making it much more difficult to do that because there's a lot of noise out there, So
Well
anyway,
put.
that was my experience with it.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us how you made that choice. Samantha, talk how did that rejection letter land?
It was amazing. It was from a friend who read my work, and she read 130 pages in one night. So that tells me it's not about the writing. And
No.
she has a connection to this publishing company, and it's just not the right fit. So that was how like I said, that was how I helped myself bounce back and say, it's not about me. It's not about my writing. It's about the fit of it, like Alison said. And I think a lot of people who don't write books don't know that you have to go through a literary agent a lot of times. There are ways to get through to publishers without literary agents, but a lot of them do. A lot of publishing companies vet the work or use literary agents to vet the work. And so you have to sell yourself to a literary agent. And when
Mhm.
you sell them, you have to also sell yourself to the publisher for them. You have to show them what they are presenting then to the publisher about you. So you're selling yourself to the literary agent and to the publishing company simultaneously. And there's a lot of room in there for something to not fit the right
Yeah.
way.
Interesting. I have a friend who's published over 30 books, and I believe they're all self-published. And they were approached by a good sized publishing house. We're interested in your books, but the publishing house won't talk to them unless they have a literary agent as the go-between.
Hmm.
Even though they approached him with interest in his books, they won't talk to him directly. Interesting?
Yeah, there's a lot about the business that literary agents know that authors don't. You
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know. And
Yep.
so I do respect the reason they're asking for that, but it does sound silly.
Thank you. Okay. We
I
were
see
hoping for
both
that
sides.
reality
Yes.
check that yes, we have to see both sides. But an industry is an industry, and until that industry has been, you said so many things are changing, but some things are stuck in certain industries. Certain processes will not change, at least until enough people say there do or do not. We're not going to come to you unless you change. Do it now. We'll leave that one alone. Let's go to the creativity statements here. We got plenty of time. I actually got about 17 minutes left. That's plenty. Samantha, I'm looking at your statement number 1 and 2. I'm going to read them. They're brief, and I'm going to
Okay.
have you take about 2 minutes. I'll tell you what they are, and then I want to see what Alison and Ben have to say, and then we'll do one for Ben or two and for Alison. So, Samantha says, I create best outside in my backyard among blooming flowers and butterflies. And then she says, I cannot get into my writing head unless I have my hair off my neck and a drink within reach. I've never had anybody on the show say that. And I loved it. I absolutely, it's about time. Okay. Samantha, putting
Keep
you back
working.
on speaker view. Why don't you take 2 minutes, expand this a little bit, and then we'll see what your colleagues on the panel have to say. Go ahead.
Sure. So I love gardening. It's how I refresh my soul. And when I'm working through plot holes or trying to figure out a character, I'll just go pull weeds and try to figure out what is going on. Like I keep my hands busy and then let my head process what's going on. So that's the gardening thing. And I love sitting outside we have a fountain in our backyard, and I listen to the water and I write, and it's amazing. I didn't know how quirky I was. I don't know if I'd call it OCD, but I was trying to write, I was trying to work on my novel, and I couldn't focus. I couldn't get anything done. And I kept reaching for a hair tie. I couldn't find one. And I was like, I was so desperate for a hair tie that I found a twisty tie, and I put my hair up in a ponytail with a twisty tie. I was like, oh, I can't write unless my hair's off my neck because the feeling distracts me. It was the weirdest thing. And then I reach for my drink, and while I'm reading and rereading what I've typed, I have to be able to reach for a drink to read. I can't read without drinking, apparently.
We won't
Water.
ask any. Oh, wait, I wasn't going to ask.
Or
I'm very,
Celsius or
very
coffee.
polite. Ben is wondering how to use a twisty tie to make a pony. I'm going to go to Ben. Ben, any, not Benny. Ben, any comments about the drink, the listening to the water, and tying the hair up? Ben, please. We'd love your
Well,
reaction.
I couldn't tie a twisty tie around one hair on my head because I'm bald in the back. But no. So yeah, I think the nature is, I connect well with that. Just nature, being outside, it really is peaceful. That peace really does help me focus as well. And so I appreciate that about your story there for sure. The drink, I was wondering, for me, if it's a wine, I can't do anything. If I've had one glass of wine,
No,
I'm
I'm
working.
done. Yeah.
I'm a half a glass person too.
glad you clarified that. But yeah, I love sitting on the porch. I can certainly think.
We were most concerned about the twisty tie. Allison, you ever had to tie your hair up and reach for a glass of something? Tell me.
Yes. But so I have three kids. So I am used to writing in chaos. So I can, there's no set thing where I'm like, I can't write if this doesn't happen, if my hair is not tied up, or if I don't have my cup of tea. No, I can write while waiting for like my daughters, when they're doing their dance lessons, and all the parents are so I don't know, it's a skill that I've built up over the years, I think, just because there's so much chaos around
Everywhere.
that. Yeah. Otherwise I would probably never write.
There you go. There you go. You got to pick the time and the place. Thank
Yeah.
you, Samantha. Anything you want to say back to them, or have we decimated your statements?
No, that's okay. I totally get, and I've written a gymnastics practice and things like that, but the hair has to be off the neck. And then,
I have
there you
never
go.
had anybody. I have guests recently have been talking about they do their best creative thinking in the shower. And I researched that, and they say it's the white noise of the water. Typically, you have no interruptions, hopefully, when you're in the shower. And if you have the right temperature, it's the body temperature is often matched approximately with the water temperature in the shower. And they say there are physiological reasons that people say, I do my best thinking when I'm in the shower. And more people have been. Ben, what do you think? Is that something for you?
That makes sense. I mean, anytime you're comfortable and relaxed and
Yeah.
a place where you can focus, if you're able to focus, I think it could be very well done.
There you go. And speaking of Mr. Leman, I'm going to your. I'm teasing you, but you have such a wonderful smile. It's worth it. I'm going to two of your statements here, and I'll put you back on speaker view. Take 2 minutes, and then we'll see what your colleagues on the panel have to say. So Ben says, my most creative moments are in the morning. When I'm full of energy, my mind is running hard. By evening, I'm too tired to function at my highest capacity. And you also say, I am inspired by those around me who strive to create. That's an interesting statement. So, Ben, why don't you take 2 minutes? I'm putting you back on one-on-one speaker view so everybody can see how you're thinking about this. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not as talented as Alison or Stephanie or Samantha. I'm sorry, in
Okay.
that I do need quiet. I do need an environment that allows me to block out the noise. And so, my favorite time to do that is in the morning, when a lot of everybody's kind of calm in my house. I have 4 children and my wife, and they when they come up, when they wake up and start moving, things come alive in our house. Monsters start crawling out of the woodworks, and dad needs to go help do this or that. So it gets difficult. But I wrote this book. I wrote my favorite place that I found that I wrote well was in Alaska, by myself in a very remote part of Alaska, and I spent quite a few weeks there, 3 months total, but writing this part of this book during that time. So that by far was my most productive time in writing. It was where I could be very focused all day on this endeavor and really undistracted, So that for me was the best time. And day in and day out back in the real world, I run a manufacturing company, so I am tired in the evenings, but a lot of times, so I find that the morning's the best time for me.
Okay, let's go around the table and see what we have. Morning people, yes or no? Alison, I'm going to you first on this one. What do you think?
I used to be a night owl, but I find that the older I get, yeah, morning is the time when I'm like, and especially with kids, right? Because a lot of times the kids go off to school, except for the summer. And so then I have like this period of time where there are no interruptions. So it's very lovely to have that time when they're all off doing their thing and then I can do mine.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely morning.
Samantha?
Yeah, mornings. My kids they go to public school as well, so they're gone during the day, and they start threatening me at the beginning of May, like, "Mom, we're almost done with school. We're going to be home all day." They know, because they know I write and I work, and then I get cranky when they're too loud, but they're not doing anything wrong. It just, we exist in the same space then. But I absolutely agree with Ben, where like my husband goes to work at 6:45 and I have a preteen and two teenage girls. So they sleep until 10 or 11, and I sit at my computer and I try to maximize the most of that, and I'll do the writing while they are asleep, and then I can work on social media post type things while they're awake, because that doesn't take as you can be interrupted for that type of stuff. So I try to work on some of those things later in the day.
I'm waiting for Alison to break out in another chorus of Look on the Bright Side.
Look on the bright side.
Exactly.
I thought that would be appropriate. I don't want to shock all of you, but at midnight last night, I should have gone to bed. And I said to myself, I wanted to write on Sunday, and I didn't because I had so much other work to do. And I ran in here to my office, to my studio where I do my writing on my Mac. And I sat down and I opened up my book to page 50 I had left off. It's only going to be about 30,000 words. It's not a full-length novel. It's a novella. And I'd bookmarked. I had finished editing up to page 50. I'm basically doing a rewrite. And I said to myself, 3 sentences, that was just a shell of what I wanted to say. And all of a sudden, stuff just poured out and it just wrote itself. And at 12:30, I said, now I could go to sleep. I did something on my book. It's still, well, it was actually after Sunday, but it counted for me. So there you go. So my writing is, because I live alone, it's anytime, but sometimes I feel obligated that I didn't do something, and I keep putting it off. I haven't finished it yet, but I will one of these days. Okay, let's go to Alison. We've got about 7 minutes left, plenty of time. Alison says, writing stories, you're going to love this one, Ben and Samantha. Alison says, writing stories is like breathing to me. If I stop, this is dramatic. If I stop, I don't know if I'll still be alive. I don't write because of money, fame, or fortune. I write because not writing is unthinkable. And she also says, I seldom handwrite my work, but every once in a while, I'll grab a notebook and go for a walk into town and see if inspiration strikes. We've got two very, very interesting statements here, Ms. McBain. So why don't you take us through both of them briefly, and then we'll see what the others, and I need a couple minutes to close the show. So go ahead, Alison. Plenty of time.
Well, I have always been a writer. Some of my first memories are, writing stories when I was like a kid, yay high, and I've always wanted to be a writer. It took me a long time to get, to where I had books published and could do it full time. But yeah, it's something that has always been something that I do. Like I always turn to it. I also say writing is my therapy. So, when I need to work through something, and I write mostly fiction, but if there's something that I'm mad about, I will write a character and kill them in a murder mystery. So you can definitely get, work through real life issues in your fiction and have fun doing it. But yeah, I can't think of any any reason that I would ever quit writing. I will probably do it until the day I die, I think.
Tell me something about the handwriting. I assume, am I right or wrong, that you normally do a keyboard or dictation?
Yeah.
But what is it about handwriting? You bring a notebook with you? Do you have sticky notes? And do you type that up when you get back to your office? What do you do with the handwriting?
Oh, definitely. Well, I like to switch it up every once in a while because yeah, I mostly type on my computer. It's faster. I don't have to take the extra step like transcribing it. But sometimes, especially with poetry, when I'm writing poetry, sometimes it's nice because it's very brief. It's short lines. Take a nature walk. Like go out, take a look at something, have a moment of peace, unplug from our phone, electronics, whatever, and just absorb. And then eventually that inspires inspires me to write something. So it can definitely switch your brain into a different lane.
1 minute from Ben, 1 minute from Samantha. Reaction, Samantha, what do you think?
I need to know if Alison has ever named a character that she didn't like after someone in real life that gave her a hard time.
Ooh, ooh.
I normally name characters after friends and people I know. So normally they do not come to bad end. Hopefully.
Unless they've done her wrong later on and she has to go back and say, uh-oh, got to change that.
They're dying.
And what about you? Has writing become so important to you? And do you handwrite ever?
Yeah, so writing has become important to me. It definitely has opened up a new door of life for me. But I'm particularly fascinated by Alison's statement on handwriting. I love the same concept. In particular, the way I describe it is if you handwrite something, at times it slows down the thought process so your mind can fully create in that moment that you're writing versus you type so fast. I mean, I can type real fast. Yep. You're blowing through the moment. You just blew through the moment of creativity that you could have spent and created. So I really like that, Alison. Good job.
Thank you. I've thought of, because of this part of the show, I've thought of renaming it the Creativity Spark Workshop because there's so many ideas that are shared. And I did a show on my technology show with 3 writers last week talking about a different topic, but an aspect of writing and research. And they were saying to each other, I never thought about that. Wow, I got to try that. And I said, we've just had a workshop here. We've just had this experience rather than, oh, I'll tell you when I think about it. Everybody was responding and reacting and resonating. So I am really enjoying watching the 3 of you share. And that's why I asked for 4 creativity statements from each of you, because there's so much that you have to say about this. But I asked you to bring enough so I can find differences, Ben, so I can find something from you, something from Samantha, something from Alison. So I'm looking at the clock. We got about 3 minutes. Jordan's going to give us a couple minutes extra on his side, but I have all the time in the world. Let me read some quotes to you, and then I'm going to read you one of my poems, Alison and everybody. It's an acrostic, because I belong to an online poetry group. We get a prompt every Wednesday from the moderator. It's Writer's Digest. Robert Lee Brewer is the senior editor, and he gives us a prompt. And then in April and November, we get a prompt every day. It's called the Poem a Day Challenge. It's not a contest. It's not a competition, but there are about 20 or 30 or 4 of us who participate. I've been in it for 3 years. So I've written about 800 poems so far because I write 2 or 3 a day when I do that. But I'm the class clown. I like to write the happy, the fun stuff, the little sarcastic stuff. Everybody's writing very serious stuff. Okay. And Alison, you mentioned about a short poem. Writing poems can be short. I had somebody on my show recently, I won't tell you the name because you might know them, who just wrote a 43-page poem that was something like 15,000 words and got it published. So anyway, so much for short poems. So I want you all to listen to this. Lucy Maud Montgomery wrote Anne of Green Gables back in 1908. She's a Canadian author. And chapter 19 in her book is called, I love this, A Concert, a Catastrophe, and a Confession. How about that grabbing you, Samantha? That's some bunch of alliteration there. And here's what she said in this book, and I love this statement. I think Ben's going to like it too. Something just flashes into your mind, so exciting, and you must out with it. If you stop to think it over, you spoil it all. Interesting. That's the creative process. And Rapunzel, Entangled, 3D computer animated musical adventure fantasy comedy film with Mandy Moore. Yes, and she said, Venture outside your comfort zone. The rewards are worth it. I love that one. And of course, the Rolling Stone said, can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you'll get what you need. Let me go to my words of wisdom here. This is an acrostic I wrote. The theme that day was night shift, NIGHTSHIFT. I wrote this on July 24th, 2024, and I'm going to lean in as I read the letter for each part of the acrostic, and I dedicate this to the three of you. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing, highs and lows. Flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again, shifting. Off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster. Finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration, fears. Thus is the life of the creative. And I dedicate that to the three of you. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yes, thank you. That was
Oh,
really
it was
good.
lovely.
And I have a one-liner here that I wrote. Let me see if I can find my other one. This one is write a blank like blank poem, he said. And that's what I did. BLANKLIKE, BLNK. And this is called subtitle, Silly Like Me. Believe in love always. Never kiss a leprechaun in a kayak. Every boat's like a nervous kangaroo. There you go. Okay. So in
Perfect.
2014, Ben, I'm dedicating this to you. I closed my show, I've been doing this a long time, with the top 10 tips for women. And the first one has to do with a movie that came out 10 years later. And everybody will appreciate this. The top number one was Aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. Okay. And there you go. And this is for who wanted to drink? It was water, Samantha said.
Water,
when
coffee, water,
when
yeah.
life gives you lemons, make lemonade and add vodka. There you go. And here's my closing. And don't go away. We can talk after if you can stick around. Life is short. Break the rules. I think we all do. Forgive quickly. I still am working on that one. I haven't figured it out, Ben. I'm just trying. Not working so well. Kiss slowly. That I know. Love truly. Always. Laugh uncontrollably. Join me in a quick laugh, all of three of you. Don't hurt yourself. And never, ever, ever regret anything that made you smile. Final words. Work like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in high heels in a high school cafeteria near Eugene, Oregon, and they didn't have a stage, I had to dance on a Formica tabletop. I didn't fall, but boy, was everybody watching. They built a stage for me the next week. Sing like nobody's listening. I tried not to sing. And love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart regenerate, regrow, reinvent, and come back and ready for love again. Money talks, chocolate sings, la. See, I'm allowed to sing at least one note there. And last but not least, I stole this line from somebody years ago. Thank you for turning me on. Let's go.
Creativity show.
Join me in dancing. This is just 35 seconds.
Let it flow. Unscripted words in a
Thank you to
velvet
Jordan
ring.
Henson from Voice America. You got the book.
I got the book.
Jordan at Voice America Media Empowerment Channel. And a shout out to Aaron Keller, the owner.
Glow, aka Radio Red. Let's go. Tell me what it is that sparks your
Sparks your fire.